welcome back to our fourth session of Sunday School this fall. It's great to see you back here for our fourth session. If you need a bit of review of what we're working on this fall, be sure to catch our first 3 videos on the Good Shepherd YouTube channel. Today, we're going to look at the second beatitude that Jesus gives in his Sermon on the Mount. Jesus says this, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted." We use another word for mourning that you might have heard before. It's called grieving. But what does it mean to mourn or to grieve? Mourning or grieving usually happens when you've lost something that you love, something that you are really missing, that you no longer have. A lot of times when people are mourning, they may feel emotions of sadness or anger. You might see someone crying when they're mourning. There were people in Jesus' time, just like there are people today, who were taught that crying or being sad was a shameful thing to do. That mourning showed weakness or was too vulnerable. Vulnerable means that you share part of yourself with others to receive special care or support. Being vulnerable is actually really important. There are lots of people, especially people with money or power, who spend time trying not to cry and trying not to be vulnerable. Instead, they focus on gathering money and control so they can feel strong and unshakable, rather than opening up to their emotions, especially uncomfortable emotions like being sad. But tears and crying are so important, especially when what makes us cry is painful or hard to hold. It's always a beautiful way that we connect with God. Did you know that God cries too? And that Jesus cried during his time on earth? God cries for everyone. God's heart is wide and holds all the pain of everyone hurting throughout the whole world. And when we cry, it's a way of sharing in God's heart. Crying shows that we are actually alive and awake and aware of what's going on within us and around us. Crying shows that we are brave. Crying shows that we are willing to feel pain, our own and someone else's pain. You're not trying to block the pain around you or keep your distance from it. Jesus promises us in this beatitude today that those who mourn will be comforted. Jesus says that God will comfort us when we cry. Jesus promises that God would bring comfort when we mourn, when we grieve, when we're sad, or when we're angry. One way God brings comfort is through you. When you offer your hand or loving words or prayers, especially to someone who is sad, you are God's comfort to that person. Crying together and being vulnerable always helps us belong with each other, and it brings us closer to God. Jesus said, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted." Now it's time for some coloring and discussion time. You can go into the packet of materials that you got from Good Shepherd and pull out this sheet that you'll find in there. While you're coloring, you can discuss these questions. Share about a time that you cried. What happened? Have you seen someone who was mourning? What did it look like? Sound like? What did it feel like to see them? Did you do anything for them? How can you be God's comfort to someone who is mourning? What can you do to find comfort if you are mourning? Pause the video here and have some discussion time and color the page in your packet. Now it's time for an activity. How do you bring comfort to a friend that is sad? Some people send messages or cards when someone is sad. Use the card in your printouts from Good Shepherd, or find or make a card at your house for someone who is sad. Be sure to write words of comfort for your friend. There are some examples listed on the slide. Once you're done making your card, be sure to send it off to bring that person comfort. Let's end with prayer together. Repeat after me. Comforting God, thank you for our tears and how they teach us, free us, and connect us to you. Thank you for holding our pain and for crying with us. Help us remember we can be your comfort to others. Amen.